Greetings and welcome to Pinball Help. Mike here. Tonight I am working on this Bally Theater of Magic machine. This thing's been sitting around. I'm just trying to catch up on all the games that have been needing work around here. And this one's got a bunch of little minor things wrong. One of the things is the trunk is not working. And I've tried to run the trunk test and it's just not even firing, even though the light on the driver board is going on. And I realized that I had a replacement trunk controller board for this, a really nice one. And this is my third Theater of Magic. There's a lot of Theater of Magic videos, and I thought I had done one on replacing the trunk board because I know I replaced it on some other machines, but apparently I haven't. So I thought, I'll do one on replacing this trunk board. So there's a couple of bugs in the Theater of Magic thing where it kind of throws the game into an error state if the ball is hit while the trunk is moving and some other stuff. And it can also get a ball stuck behind the trunk, so it moves around. And there have been a number of attempts to upgrade the equipment over the years. Some of the opto stuff and these things that are called proximity sensors, you'll see there is one. This is a proximity board, and this is a modern one, the PinBits one, that I replaced and put into the machine. Those proximity sensors sensor when the ball comes over to trigger, and the ones that came with the machine were okay, but they were a little bit more fault intolerant. They tended to drift out of their sensor range for the balls. And I've done videos on how to adjust those over the years. There's also one in front of the trunk, and there's two of them on the out lanes. In this case, let's take care of replacing this trunk board. This is an original trunk board, I believe. Here is another one, so I may have replaced it more than once. These optos tend to go out, and in a lot of cases it's cheaper to just get the board. It just depends. I don't know why this is in the machine. You know what, this might have been, actually it says okay. This probably came from the other machine when I replaced it with the newer board. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. On pin side, there's a German pinball dude, and he has created this thing, which is pretty cool. It's a replacement board that also has the controller in it and everything integrated. So instead of I think 3 boards, there's actually just this one board. And there's even a tester that you can get where you can test the optos on the board. This is what I've got here, and let's demonstrate that. We'll demonstrate it with the original board here, and this is a way for you to test the optos in the board once it's out. And you can get this on pin side if you search for Ultimate Tom Trunk Opto Board. I've had this for a long time. I don't even know if the guy's still selling them or anything, but you flip the switch and it turns the optos on, and each LED indicates the state of the opto. So let me get a little business card here, and I'll just when I interrupt the opto, you can see the light goes out, so we can check each opto and verify that it does work. And we'll try it on the new board here. Okay. Little switch. Okay. Now let's try the interrupters. Obviously, this board has its own diagnostic LEDs, so you don't even need the test board. You can interrupt it and see. So it's just a nifty little thing. I think it was just a few extra bucks. So when I placed the order, I said, give me this tester. Give me the tester too. And so that's kind of what this is. So I'm going to replace this board, and I'm going to try to remember what I did. I was fiddling around with the machine here, trying to figure out exactly what it was. So I'm going to show you what the board is in the machine already, and here's basically what I'm doing. First thing you need to do is you need to remove these 4 screws right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll use a 11/32 nut driver for that. And then before this can come off, you have to remove the plate here. There's a little Allen nut there that does that, and that is a 5/64 Allen nut. So once we get this loosened, we should be able to remove and replace the board. Now, obviously, when you do this, you want to make sure that you know what the orientation is of this piece here. There's a notch, and I have it at 12 o'clock, so it's exactly in the center. So the beam will be uninterrupted for this northernmost thing. Make sure you do that, otherwise you're going to confuse the thing. It might not work properly when you get it back together. So loosen this a little bit, and then this just slides down like that. And should be able to get the board off, unplug everything, pull it out. And now these connectors here, they'll come off like that. And I guess we'll have to pull them out one by one. Possibly a little tricky there. I'm not going to mess with that on camera because I want to take my time. So hold on, I'm going to hit pause. We'll see what happens. Okay, so did a quick little bit of research because I got one of the connectors out and I couldn't get this other big one. It just won't fit. Apparently, there's two basic ways you can do this. You can cut these wires and you can reattach them later because this thing just won't go through it. Or you can use a Molex removal tool and repin it after you're done, which is what I'm going to do, assuming I can find the right Molex removal tool. It might be this guy right here. Let's see. Now I want to obviously note the color. The red one is to the pointy end. Let me see if this tool is going to work first. It will. Okay, cool. So you use the Molex removal tool, and you push in, and then you pull it out, and wham bam, you got it done there. So I'm going to make a note that the red is to the pointy thing. Normally I would use my camera, but I'm using my camera to actually film it. So that's the trick. If you have one of these little removal tools, they work obviously quite well. Push it in, and then you can remove it. Otherwise, it's going to be confusing as to how to get that thing off. So there you go with that. Give me a minute. Let me do this. Okay, and there we go. Now, let's pull this guy out. Put this guy in. I believe it's going to go like that. It's going to go that way. And I will, before I forget what is what, I'm going to put this back out here. And I marked R and P, so I know which one goes which. So there's our red, and there's our purple. Okay, and it's back. So I'm going to get this all buttoned up, and give me 1 second. All right, I've got this together. There's a little notch that the Allen bolt goes into, so you should be able to spot it where it was. Obviously, as long as the trunk doesn't turn after you remove it, you're probably good to go. So I've got everything now together. So now we just have to plug the thing in. So this plug, obviously, you can see it just slides right in here. This stuff is keyed, so if it goes in, it should be the right thing. This section here is going to plug into your eddy sensor board down here. You're going to unplug the eddy sensor and plug it up here. And I'm going to double check all of that because I can't really see. And let's plug these guys back in. And then the motor power gets connected here and right here. Like that. Okay. And I think I'm trying to figure out what's going what. What have I missed? I need to poke my head in there and get a good look at the thing. So I'm going to get this thing all connected up and we're going to see what happens. So, okay, now we've got everything connected up, so let me go over everything. We have an extra wire that comes with this thing that is a power thing that runs from the control board over to this guy. That's what this is for. This would normally go to the motor control. Now it goes to here. The motor control gets plugged in right over here. That goes right there. We unplug from the eddy board and we plug that in here as north. Ground is on the bottom here. And then we unplug that one and we put it over here. And on this one, ground is on the right side. On the pin bits board, or the eddy board, in this case, the ground is up. And you see on one side you've got ground, you got plus 12 volts, and then you got the two green wires. So you want to make sure that you've got all of that set up properly. And now everything is connected in, so now all I got to do is turn it on and see what happens. Okay, well, I've got everything back together, and I'm running the trunk test, and the trunk is not moving. I checked the fuses and everything seemed to be good. So I have a feeling the trunk motor is toast. I hate to say it. I was afraid of that. I thought, you know, before I thought I would just replace the board and see if that was going to fix it. But unfortunately, see, trunk should be moving and it's not. So the opto board is working, but our trunk is dead. I'm going to look at the manual, see if I can send some voltage to the motor and move it manually just to see if that'll do anything. But this game was on location, and it was played quite a bit, and it's entirely possible that it just got ragged, really got ragged. And now we have to do a bunch of work to bring it back to life, unfortunately. I've never had one of the trunk motors go out. It could be some wiring, but the problem is there's every indication that there's power getting to it. It could be this little motor, unfortunately. So we're going to have to stand by for another part 2 video and find out what the mystery is. The nice thing about watching these things is by the time this thing comes out, I will have probably solved it, because I'm not going to do a series of videos where it's only half done. So at least you know better than I do, if you're watching this, that I will have fixed this and I will tell you what the problem was. At this point, I don't know. I'm going to do a little bit more diagnostic. I'm not going to take up your time. As I said, I don't really do a whole lot of video editing, because if I had to edit these videos, I mean, I make no money off of this, really. So if I had to edit these videos, I'd never get them done, you know? If this was a bigger channel, you know, maybe so. So if you've been watching it and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If the subscribers go up, I can definitely improve the quality of the videos, but it's hard to justify that. But anyway, I do hope that you are appreciating me trying to document these things, because, you know, if you run into this problem, if I've saved you some trouble, that's great. At least subscribe and stay tuned, because we're going to figure out what is wrong with this thing.